What if the small thing you eat before bed is either quietly helping your eyes recover during the night or making age-related vision problems easier to worsen over time? Because many older adults believe eye health is mostly about stronger glasses, cataract surgery, or simple bad luck. But that is not the full story. Your retina, your macula, the surface of your eyes, and even the tiny blood vessels that keep vision working all depend on how you nourish your body every single day. And tonight, I'm going to walk you through 5 fruits that may support healthier eyes before bed. But the fruit I placed at number 1 earned that spot for a reason most people never hear about. And once you understand it, your evening routine may never feel the same again. Before we begin, please subscribe to Dr. Anna for clear, practical health advice that helps you see better, feel stronger, and age with more confidence. I'm Dr. Anna, and I want to tell you something I wish more seniors understood much earlier. Vision problems usually do not begin with sudden darkness. They often begin with quiet little changes people dismiss. More glare from headlights, slight blur when reading labels, dry, tired eyes late in the day, colors that seem less bright, more trouble moving from bright light into dim rooms. These things can feel normal with age. And yes, some changes do become more common over time, but common does not always mean harmless. Very often, the eyes are asking for better support, and one of the simplest places to begin is not with an expensive supplement, but with the right food at the right time. Now let me be honest before we go any further. No fruit is a miracle. No orange, no berry, no papaya, no kiwi is going to erase cataracts overnight or reverse macular degeneration while you sleep. That is not how medicine works. But food changes the internal environment your eyes live in. It influences oxidative stress, blood vessel health, inflammation, hydration, tear quality, and the supply of nutrients that eye tissues depend on. And bedtime matters more than most people think. The wrong snack late at night can spike blood sugar, worsen reflux, disturb sleep, and leave your body repairing less effectively while you rest. The right fruit, on the other hand, can offer hydration, antioxidants, and a gentler form of nourishment when your body is supposed to be restoring itself, not struggling through another round of damage. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Martha. She was 71, a retired school secretary, organized, careful, and proud of taking good care of herself. But every night after dinner, she had a familiar ritual: tea, biscuits, and a small dessert before bed. It felt relaxing. It felt earned. Over time, though, she noticed her eyes felt irritated at night. Reading in bed became less comfortable. Light seemed harsher when she drove home from visiting family. She assumed she simply needed new glasses. But when we looked closely at her routine, it wasn't only her prescription, it was the pattern. Too much sugar late in the evening, too little eye-supportive nutrition, and no attention at all to how bedtime choices affect overnight recovery. That brings me to fruit number 5. Number 5 is citrus fruit, especially oranges, tangerines, and sometimes grapefruit, if your medications allow it. And I know citrus sounds almost too ordinary. That is exactly why people overlook it. Your eyes need vitamin C, and they need it consistently. That matters because vitamin C helps protect delicate tissues from oxidative stress. As the years pass, that stress adds up. The lens becomes more vulnerable. The retina faces more wear. The small blood vessels that nourish the eyes become less resilient. Citrus fruit gives you a familiar, affordable, easy way to support that system. Nothing flashy, nothing trendy, just a practical choice that makes sense. And there is another reason citrus can be useful in the evening. A small orange or a few tangerine segments can satisfy the desire for something sweet without hitting the body the way cake, pie, or candy does. That swap matters. When you trade a processed dessert for whole fruit, you are not only adding nutrients, you are removing a problem. Less junk, less overload, and better support for blood vessels throughout the body, including the ones your eyes rely on. People often forget that vision depends on circulation. Tiny vessels deliver oxygen and nutrients to the eye minute by minute. If those vessels suffer, the eyes suffer too. So no, a bedtime orange is not magic, but it may be a much smarter trade than the dessert many seniors reach for automatically. There is one caution though. If citrus gives you heartburn or reflux, do not force it before bed. Good health advice must fit the body you actually live in. If citrus bothers your stomach at night, have it earlier in the day and choose another fruit from this list in the evening. That flexibility matters. Good medicine is not rigid. Good medicine is thoughtful. And the next fruit on this list is one many seniors already enjoy, but may not realize carries a real eye health advantage: Number 4 is berries, especially blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. I remember a man named Dennis, 68, who told me, "In daylight, I'm fine. In the evening, everything feels more frustrating." That was his phrase, more frustrating. Reading after dinner took more effort, headlights felt harsher, fine detail became less comfortable. His eye exam showed age-related changes, yes, but it also showed a pattern we see all the time, a diet low in colorful plant foods and high in convenient snacks. Dennis assumed fruit was just sugar, so he avoided it during the day and then ate crackers and packaged snacks at night. That is a very common mistake. Berries are different from that kind of eating. They provide vitamin C and colorful compounds called anthocyanins. Those plant pigments are part of what gives berries their deep red, purple, and blue colors, and those colors often signal antioxidant value. That matters because the eyes are highly sensitive to oxidative damage. Think about what your eyes do all day. They process light nonstop. They rely on active, energy-hungry tissue. They are exposed to environmental stress. Over years, that wear accumulates. Berries help support the body's defense against that kind of stress. And unlike pastries, candy, or sugary cereal, berries usually come with fiber and a gentler metabolic impact. So when an older adult swaps late-night junk food for a modest bowl of berries, that is not just healthy eating in a vague sense. It changes the nighttime conditions the eyes are living in. And over time, that matters. Now, if you are going to use berries well before bed, portion matters. I am not talking about a giant bowl covered in syrup or sweetened cream. I am not talking about berry-flavored dessert. I am not talking about dried fruit that behaves more like candy. I am talking about a modest serving of whole berries, fresh or unsweetened frozen. Maybe alone, maybe with a spoonful of plain yogurt, if that helps you feel satisfied. That is where people go wrong. They hear that berries are healthy, then turn them into a sugar bomb. Then they wonder why sleep was poor or why morning glucose was high. Whole berries can help. Sweetened fruit products often do not. And the next fruit is where many people suddenly realize eye nutrition is far bigger than carrots. Number 3 is papaya. And if you do not eat papaya often, stay with me because it deserves more respect than it usually gets. I once cared for a woman named Irene, 74, who told me, "Doctor, I understand vegetables matter, but fruit doesn't really do much for the eyes, right?" That belief is everywhere. Many people treat fruit like decoration, something optional, something extra. But when Irene started using papaya a few nights a week instead of pastry, she finally had an easy way to bring in nutrients she had been missing. Papaya offers vitamin C and also provides colorful carotenoids, the orange-red plant compounds commonly associated with eye-supportive nutrition. Those compounds matter because your retina and the surface of the eye depend on nutrients that help deal with light exposure, oxidation, and moisture balance. Papaya is not a cure, but it is a very intelligent food. What makes papaya especially useful is that it supports several needs at the same time. It offers antioxidant support. It offers those orange plant compounds linked to eye health. And for many older adults, it feels lighter before bed than heavy desserts or greasy snacks. That matters because a bedtime snack should not feel like a second dinner. At night, the body is trying to slow down, reset, and repair. If you overload it, you do not help your eyes. You help confusion. And remember, the eyes are not separate from the rest of the body. If your blood sugar swings all night, if inflammation rises, if sleep becomes broken, your eyes do not escape those consequences. They feel them too. Papaya works well because it supports without weighing you down. There is also a useful point here for dry eyes. Many seniors believe dry eye begins and ends with eye drops. But the surface of the eye is part of a living system. Hydration matters, inflammation matters, sleep quality matters, nutrient status matters. When people eat badly at night and sleep poorly, they often wake with eyes that feel gritty, tired, or sticky before the day has even started. A fruit like papaya can fit into a gentler evening routine that supports digestion and still offers helpful nutrients. Again, I am not asking you to expect miracles from a fruit bowl. I am asking you to understand that the body repairs with building blocks. If you never provide them, you should not be surprised when the eyes keep asking for help. Now we come to number 2, and this one surprises people because it looks so simple. Number 2 is cantaloupe. Yes, cantaloupe. Not expensive, not glamorous, not promoted like some miracle food. Just one of the smartest bedtime fruits for aging eyes when used properly. Let me tell you about Harold, 77, who once said to me, "By evening, my eyes feel older than I do." I never forgot that line. He was dealing with dryness, eye fatigue, and that washed-out feeling many seniors notice late in the day. He was not eating terribly, but he was not eating strategically either. When we improved his evening routine, cantaloupe became one of the easiest wins. Why? Because it supported hydration, provided vitamin C, and delivered beta-carotene, which the body can convert into vitamin A, a key nutrient for vision and eye surface comfort. Vitamin A matters because the retina uses it in the process of converting light into signals your brain recognizes as sight. And beyond that, adequate vitamin A helps support the health of the eye's surface. In simple language, it helps the eyes work and helps them stay more comfortable. That is one reason orange-colored foods have such a strong reputation in vision conversations. But here is what many people miss. Carrots are not the only option. Cantaloupe matters too. And cantaloupe has another big bedtime advantage. For many people, it feels light, cool, and easy to eat. When someone feels tempted by cookies or salty chips late at night, a chilled portion of cantaloupe can interrupt that habit without feeling like punishment. And that matters a great deal. Health habits fail when they feel punishing. They succeed when they feel manageable, and sometimes even comforting. Cantaloupe also reminds us of a bigger truth. The eyes do not age only because birthdays happen. They age in the environment you create. Too much sugar strains metabolism. Too much salt can affect blood vessels. Too little color in the diet means too few protective compounds. Too much processed food and too little water can worsen that heavy, dry, tired feeling many older adults blame entirely on age. Yes, aging changes the eyes. Of course it does. But your daily choices influence whether those changes are simply managed or quietly accelerated. That is why cantaloupe matters more than it looks. It is not dramatic. It is not marketed with hype. It simply gives the body what aging eyes tend to appreciate: hydration, antioxidants, and vitamin A support without the burden of a late-night dessert mess. But we are not at number 1 yet. And now I need you to pay close attention, because this is where the conversation becomes more interesting. The number 1 fruit on this list is not only here because of what it contains, it is here because of what it may help you do while you sleep. Because healthy eyes are not only about nutrients, they are also about recovery. Your eyes need sleep. Your tear film needs sleep. Your nervous system needs sleep. The blood vessels feeding the retina function better when the whole body is not in a stressed, overstimulated state. So the fruit in first place had to support eye nutrition and also fit the biology of bedtime. Number 1 is kiwi, and the reason is stronger than most people expect. Let me tell you about a woman named Elaine. She was 72, bright, independent, and deeply annoyed. Not because she had major vision loss, but because evenings had become harder than they should have been. Her eyes felt tired, her sleep was broken. She woke up feeling as if her body never fully reset. Like many older adults, she treated these as separate issues. Sleep was one problem, eye comfort was another. But the body does not work that way. When sleep is fragmented, repair becomes less efficient. The eyes may wake up drier, more irritated, and more fatigued. Elaine used to eat toast with jam or packaged sweets before bed. We changed that routine and simplified it. Kiwi became one of the easiest tools to use because it offered vitamin C, useful carotenoids, and fit beautifully into a lighter evening pattern without making her feel overly full. Now here is the reason kiwi earns the top spot. Research in adults with sleep difficulties has found that eating kiwi before bed was associated with improvements in how quickly people fell asleep, how long they slept, and how efficiently they slept. That does not mean kiwi is a sleeping pill. It means it may support a bedtime pattern that helps the body settle down more effectively. And why does that matter for the eyes? Because your eyes do not only need nutrients, they need recovery time. During sleep, the body shifts into maintenance mode. Tissues restore. Inflammation may settle. The surface of the eyes has a better chance to stabilize. If your bedtime habit supports better sleep while also offering antioxidant nutrition, that is a smarter evening fruit than one that merely tastes sweet. Kiwi wins because it supports both sides of the problem: nourishment and recovery. And there is another reason I like kiwi for seniors. It can help stop the dessert spiral. You know the pattern. 1 cookie becomes 3. A little ice cream becomes a large bowl. 1 piece of toast becomes toast with butter and jam, and then maybe something salty afterward too. That is how bedtime blood sugar gets messy and poor sleep gets worse. Kiwi tends to be naturally portion-friendly. 2 kiwis feel complete. They feel intentional. They feel like a routine, not an accident. And for many seniors, that structure matters as much as the fruit itself. If you have spent years eating reactively at night, the smartest change is often the simplest one you can repeat. Same time, same portion, same calm ritual. That is exactly why kiwi earns the #1 position. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Dikyo Anna, are you saying if I eat kiwi tonight, my eyesight will improve by morning? No, absolutely not. And I would never insult you with nonsense like that. What I am saying is this: seniors who care about their vision should stop acting as if bedtime food does not matter. It matters because consistency matters. Retinas are nourished over years. Lenses are protected over years. Blood vessels are damaged over years, or preserved over years. Dry eye becomes worse over years, or becomes more manageable over years. Your bedtime snack is not a random little event. It is a repeated signal to the body, and repeated signals shape health. If the message is sugar, salt, and empty calories, the eyes pay for it. If the message is whole fruit, better timing, and improved recovery support, the eyes may benefit. So let's put the 5 fruits in order again, so this stays with you. Number 5 was citrus, especially oranges and tangerines, for vitamin C and support for healthy blood vessels. Number 4 was berries, for colorful antioxidants and a smarter replacement for late-night sweets. Number 3 was papaya, for vitamin C and carotenoid support in a light, bedtime-friendly form. Number 2 was cantaloupe, for hydration, vitamin C, and beta-carotene that helps support vitamin A needs. And number 1 was kiwi, because it combines strong eye-supportive nutrition with a bedtime advantage that may help with sleep itself. That is what pushed it to the top. Not hype, not trend. Function, eye function, body function, bedtime function, working together the way real health always does. But before you go to the kitchen, I need to show you the mistakes that can ruin the value of every fruit I just mentioned. Because this is where people sabotage themselves while believing they are doing everything right. Mistake number 1 is fruit juice. Juice is not the same as whole fruit. The fiber is reduced, the speed of sugar delivery changes, and most people drink more than they would ever slowly chew. A glass of juice may sound healthy, but it behaves differently from eating the fruit itself. Mistake number 2 is dried fruit. Small size, concentrated sweetness, easy to overeat. Mistake number 3 is canned fruit in heavy syrup. That is dessert pretending to be fruit. Mistake number 4 is combining a good fruit with a bad habit, like eating berries alongside cookies and calling the whole thing healthy. And there is another mistake I see often in seniors with diabetes or pre-diabetes. They hear that fruit is healthy and assume the amount no longer matters. But amount always matters. Timing matters. Context matters. If your glucose is fragile, a smaller serving may suit you better. Some people tolerate fruit more comfortably when it is paired with a little protein or fat, such as plain Greek yogurt or a few nuts, if that fits their medical plan. That is why personalized medicine matters. 2 kiwis may be excellent for one person and too much for another with unstable blood sugar. Citrus may be helpful for one person and a reflux trigger for someone else. Good advice adjusts. It does not bully. The goal is not perfection. The goal is a repeatable pattern your eyes and the rest of your body can actually live with night after night. Now let me say something I never want you to ignore. I would never want you to use this video as an excuse to dismiss serious symptoms. If your vision suddenly becomes blurry, if straight lines start looking wavy, if you notice flashes, new floaters, a curtain-like shadow, strong eye pain, rapidly worsening night vision, or a sudden drop in your ability to read or recognize faces, that is not a fruit problem. That is a medical problem. Call an eye doctor. And if you live with diabetes, high blood pressure, or a history of smoking, your eyes deserve even more attention because those conditions can quietly damage the blood vessels and tissues that keep vision working. Fruit can support health, yes, but fruit does not replace exams. It does not replace treatment, and it does not replace urgency when something changes quickly. That distinction protects sight. Let me also say something about supplements, because many older adults ask the same question: should I just take a pill instead? Sometimes supplements do have a role, especially in specific eye conditions when an ophthalmologist recommends them, but many people make a major mistake here. They use supplements as permission to continue eating badly. That almost never works the way they hope. Pills may support. They do not erase reckless habits. Real protection still comes from the pattern: colorful foods, steadier blood sugar, better circulation, lower inflammation, and more reliable sleep. Your eyes are not floating outside the body waiting for one miracle capsule. They are living tissue dependent on what you do every day. That is why I prefer to start with food whenever possible. Food builds the pattern. Food replaces the damage of worse habits. Food teaches consistency, and consistency is where long-term protection usually begins. I think of a man named Leonard whenever I make this point. Leonard was 75 and had spent a small fortune on eye supplements he bought from advertisements. He had pills for vision, pills for circulation, pills for energy, pills for sleep. But when I asked what he usually ate before bed, he looked embarrassed and admitted it was often brittle, crackers, or leftover pie. That was the real story. He wanted rescue without routine. And many people do. But once Leonard changed his evening habit, other things became easier. Not magically cured. Easier. Better sleep. Less heaviness at night. Fewer glucose swings. A steadier feeling in the morning. And with that, his eyes felt less strained by the end of the day. Did fruit do all of that by itself? No, but fruit became the doorway to better decisions. And that is often how health improves. Not through one miracle, but through one wise switch repeated consistently. Now I want to go one step deeper into something many people never connect to eye health: nighttime blood sugar. Repeated sugar surges affect blood vessels throughout the body, and the eyes depend on some of the most delicate vessels you have. That is one reason heavily processed evening snacks are so unkind to aging vision. It is not only about weight gain, it is about inflammation. It is about metabolic wear. It is about vascular stress. That is why choosing whole fruit instead of pastries at night is not simply a calorie decision. It is a tissue protection decision. And no, fruit is not sugar-free. But whole fruit behaves differently from processed sweets because the package is different. Water, fiber, nutrients, volume, eating speed, all of that matters. A senior slowly eating kiwi or berries sends the body a very different nighttime signal than a senior eating frosted cookies in front of the television, and the eyes know the difference. Hydration matters too, and many older adults underestimate it. As we age, thirst can become less reliable. Some people reduce fluids late in the day because they are afraid of waking up to urinate, and I understand that. But even mild dehydration can contribute to that dry, tired, irritated feeling in the eyes. That is where fruits like cantaloupe and papaya can be especially helpful. They bring fluid along with useful nutrients, not in huge amounts right before lying down, but in a sensible portion that supports rather than overloads. If your eyes always feel scratchy at night, do not ask only what drops you need. Ask what your evenings look like. Ask what you are eating. Ask how you are sleeping. Ask whether you are helping your body repair or quietly making that work harder. That question changes everything when people answer it honestly. And I also want to say something about the emotional side of nighttime eating, because it is real. Many seniors are not eating late because of hunger alone. They are eating because evenings can feel quiet, lonely, or long. Food becomes comfort. Food becomes companionship. Food becomes ritual. That is why simplistic advice fails. If I only tell you to eat better, that does not help the person sitting alone at 9:30 at night trying to soften a difficult day. But replacing a damaging ritual with a protective one can help. A small bowl of berries, 2 kiwis, chilled cantaloupe, a few slices of papaya, 1 orange peeled slowly at the table instead of eating mindlessly from a package. That change is not only nutritional, it is emotional. It gives structure, it gives calm, it gives intention. And that kind of routine often supports better sleep too, which circles us right back to better recovery for the eyes. Now let me give you the simple bedtime plan I recommend most often. Keep it easy. Choose 1 fruit, not 3. Keep the portion modest. Eat it about an hour before bed, not 5 minutes before lying down. Do not cover it with syrup, sugar, or sweetened toppings. If you have diabetes, reflux, kidney disease, or digestive issues, adjust the choice with your clinician's guidance. If sleep is one of your biggest struggles, kiwi is a smart option to discuss and try. If dryness bothers you, cantaloupe or papaya may fit very well. If you mainly crave sweets at night, berries or citrus may help you step away from processed desserts. The key is consistency. Your eyes do not benefit from one perfect night. They benefit from steady support, repeated over time. Take care of yourself tonight, and you protect more of tomorrow. And if this helped you, subscribe to Dr. Anna so you do not miss the next video.